absolutely. You beat me by 25 metres there.
Well, I think Ross Williams made a mistake. It's easy to say now with hindsight, but he was sitting one out, one back on full time's back, went to the fence. What became 1-1? I mean, perhaps he didn't make a mistake. Phoenix Foundry was on its back. It might have got held up when full time dropped out. But it was a bit unlucky. The race changed complexion totally on the home turn.
Let's watch Barry Alford.
Chris.
Chris Alford here.
Well, he's just, there's nothing in the tank and I can't believe it. The times, lean over my shoulder and have a look at these sectionals.
Well, there's Barry looking at the race.
Watching it.
I think, let's see, let's wait about 100 out, he'll drop the binoculars, I think.
Here we go. There's the finish coming up with Chris's drive weakening.
Well, he'd be a good poker player.
Yeah, not so good that.
That's a full-blooded grimace, isn't it?
Yeah.
I tell you what will be coming up, though, a big trifecta one, would imagine, on the numbers 5, 6 and 9.
Yes, $13.10 and $2.90 for the winner. Just having a look at those times, Hutch, before you zoom out of here. 31 the first quarter's pretty steady.
It's pretty solid, Adam, but I mean, the reps that are on this mare, I think she should have won the race going along at that bat, and obviously she just wasn't quite right today. But there's been nothing wrong with Waikari Gold's form. His form has been terrific. In fact, perhaps I should have got the trifecta then, because my second and third picks have run first and second.
Yeah, your tips were...
Didn't take one.
We did point out about number 6, About Square, as the one that was steady in the market and mile overs all the way.
Okay, Totes, Waikari Gold, 13.10, 2.90, About Square, 2.40, and I'd have to agree with Hutch, a good thing beaten. He's won round 2 there with me. Indiana Lee, $3.40.
You call it round 2, he calls it 50.
Yeah. Quinella, 43.90, Exacta, 192.20, Trifecta, 1,053.70. And the running double you needed was on the numbers 10 Quizzical and 5 Waikari Gold at $66.40. And punters, there's another one left to go here at the Valley. You've still got another chance.
5:30 race start time, so we've got some 18 or 19 minutes to the last at the Valley.
We're going to have Chief Steward Gerard Lawler in too. I believe there's been a
suspension,
quite a major suspension handed down today to Steve Turnbull, a driver of Smooth Dixie. But we'll wait until Gerard Lawler gets in to join us. And we've also had some news that there may have been an adjournment to tomorrow's scheduled inquiry into a positive swab from a Gavin Langfane pacer called Bags. But they're 2 big issues in harness racing, and you'll hear all the news first here from Gerard Lawler, our Chief Steward today.
Well, there's the winner's circle there that is jointly shared by both harness and gallopers, and there's the course proper at Moonee Valley. It looks in superb order, and through that same small gate there comes the winner of races such as the Cox Plate and other big races here at the Valley, and that's the path that Waikari Gold took after winning the Junction Tabaret race. Here's Hutchie with the winning connections.
Yeah, I've got Henry McDermott here. It's getting to be a habit now, Henry. A couple of winners back at Moonee Valley. May Boa Ruffy a couple of weeks ago, and you're just telling me off camera that Waikari Gold hasn't had a lot of luck at her last couple.
Well, she trotted real good at Ballarat and never got a clear run at any stage of the race, even though she ran naught. She could have done a lot better if she could have got a run.
They were all sort of grouped up at the finish.
They were, yeah. They were all over the track in front of me. And I got to say, Bill, I drove for a little bit of luck. I usually drive a fairly hard sort of a run, but I drove for a little bit of luck that day and it didn't pay off.
Well, you drove for a bit of luck today. I mean, you obviously were behind the favourite Ivory Sunset, who surprisingly gave up in the home straight after a terrific run at Bendigo last start. But the runs came at the right time, and she's a pretty smart mare, this, and improving all the time.
Yes, well, she is, Bill, and I've got to agree with you. She's a fairly smart little mare, and I dropped in behind Ivory Sunset earlier in the race rather than sit outside the horse, because I thought it was probably the horse to beat in the race. That's before the race started it anyway. So I thought if I'm on its back, I'll run. If I can't win, I'll run second it anyway.
And have you had many trotters? I mean, coming originally from New South, you wouldn't have been behind too many.
No, I didn't have many trotters. I used to drive mare for Roop Eels. Terrible when you can't remember the name.
Yeah,
she won 3 or 4 here at Moonee Valley.
Comes to me something like Sherry.
Yeah, Sherry Thor.
Sherry Thor,
yeah, that's right. And I also used to drive train and drive Autobahn as a 3-year-old and probably a 4-year-old, but then Alan McIntosh, who bought her, took over the training of her.
Well, it looks like you've got a nice one here in Waikari Gold, and I think she should measure up to Metropolitan class soon enough.
Yes, well, I hope she will, and I think she will too, Bill.
Good on you, Henry. Well
Good.
driven, and congratulations.
So take care.
We'll go to a break now. It's Wednesday evening racing here on Channel 31.
Black Two Sugars features issues for the Aboriginal community of Melbourne.
Now this school has the highest number of Koori students of any school in metropolitan Melbourne.
Music, culture, history and Aboriginal rights make Black Two Sugars a diverse and entertaining program.
Mr. Robbie Thorpe, world-renowned Koori activist.
There's a traditional and a contemporary.
Black Two Sugars, Tuesdays at 10, here on Channel 31.
They come down.
Access News presents issues relevant to the Melbourne community.
There will be poverty.
Civil rights, environment, politics and local issues make Access News Melbourne's most independent news service.
We have rare orchids, we have butterflies, we have...
An area that is so-called restored or...
Access News, here on Channel 31.
Everybody loves a Saturday night.
And you'll love this Saturday night's harness racing at Moonee Valley. In the Campbell's Cash and Carry Victoria Oaks final, star New Zealand champion Undercover Lova will have plenty of opposition from Victoria's best fillies. TaylorMade Lombo and Jalara, and Sydney's Latoya Franco. Plus there's a top field in the White Crow Trotters Handicap featuring the return of national interest. If you can't be there, catch all the action live from around Australia on Channel 31.
I'd like to thank our many viewers who continue to phone in to the station with their support.
Mansfield's Melbourne is your guide to what's on in Melbourne.
Martin Pettit from Pettit Real Estate out
Right, I usually work on...
Local events, celebrities and billboards presented by local radio announcer Bruce Mansfield.
Together, not just the apron, obviously, it's the shirts, the pants.
The day when Australian cricketer Keith Miller was born in Sunshine in 1919.
Mansfield's Melbourne, weeknights at 5:30 and Saturdays at 6, here on Channel 31.
Well, obviously coming in off the interchange is our Chief Stipendiary Steward, Mr. Gerard Lawler, and he joins Adam to discuss primarily today's action, I suppose. Adam, with Jerry. Hi, Jerry.
Hey, Keith, how are you?
Well, thank you.
Yeah, Jared, earlier on, in fact in the third race today, a 6-week suspension handed out to Steve Turnbull. Can't say much about it. I believe he's appealed.
Yes, he has. I understand the appeal will be heard on Monday. He was given 6 weeks for an unacceptable drive on Smooth Dixie. The
Okay, finished second there to Safe and Sound.
Can I just ask, Stuart,
Sure.
I doubt whether that phraseology of that charge applies to gallops, an unacceptable drive?
No, it doesn't. The galloping rules speak about there are degrees, I suppose, not allowing a horse to run on its merits, and we're not saying that at all in this case. Then there's not taking all reasonable and permissible measures throughout a race, which the galloping code has, and we have a third rung, if you like, an unacceptable drive, and we say that Stephen Turnbull's drive, in particular here in the straight coming to the bell, where he didn't make a forward move and got himself locked up, was unacceptable.
Okay, and if I could just pause, I know you'll know the answer, Adam, but I don't, so if I may ask, Jerry, the term of that suspension, 6 weeks, is that calendar weeks, regardless of the number of meetings? Is that
Yes,
the way you do it?
6 calendar weeks.
Right.
Yes. It was a similar penalty as to what Ted Demler got on a trotter called Call Now.
Call Now, that's right.
Some time back, yes.
Okay, well, we've tidied that one up, and that's pending an appeal, and you're hoping to get that appeal. Obviously, Steve's down here for this Vicbred series. There's a semi-final and final to come.
That's correct.
So you'll have a decision for him, an appeal, what, in the next week or so?
Well, the appeal is set for Monday, I believe.
Set for Monday,
yes.
Okay. That's the news there. Now, Gavin Lang was to face stewards tomorrow over a positive swab taken from a horse called Bags, winning here will be probably 6 or 8 weeks ago.
21st of February.
Okay, that's been adjourned?
That has been adjourned. Gavin sought an adjournment to have his analyst present. His analyst evidently was in Sydney and wasn't coming back until today. They hadn't had time to prepare the case, and we have allowed that adjournment. And that will now be heard on the 30th of April.
April 30. Do stewards feel under an obligation to tidy up these matters as soon as they can. I mean, this is one of our biggest players in harness racing, probably the biggest in Victoria. And obviously, to have things like this drag on, you know, it can't be good for the sport, can it?
Oh well, I don't know whether it's good for the sport, whether that it does come into play, Adam. But the point is here that people must be given the opportunity to present their case and be given natural justice.
Yes.
And the stewards are doing that in this case. Gavin had the 7 days notice, but unfortunately with Easter coming in and his analyst was away in Sydney, he just wasn't able to prepare. We accepted that, and we now set a date.
April 30?
April 30, because 2 of our players are away.
Right.
If you like, the analyst, there's an analyst, Vets and Analyst conference in Vancouver, and our people are away until I think the 28th. So the 30th was the day that was set.
Okay, April 30 for Gavin Lang, and I believe there's an incident that we all saw here. It was in the second race today. Now, it involved Mother Courage, the Bruce Morgan trained horse. If you can pick up the action here.
Yeah, Mother Courage was probably somewhat unlucky. You can see her behind the leader, and she's inclined to hang out all the way and gave Gavin Lang a pretty torrid drive. You'll see Brian Gath outside of Chris Alford here, and his horse starts to shift out. See it run right out?
Oh. Gavin
Lang decides to go in, and Brian's horse then switched onto the other rein and ran in. And as a result of that, Gavin Lang had to check Mother Courage, and she broke. And it was certainly wasn't Mother Courage's fault, even though she did race ungenerously herself during the event.
Now, where does Brian Gaff stand in a situation like that?
No, the stewards didn't take any action against Brian. He, as I said, the horse ran out on him.
Appeared very erratic, his filly, went under pressure.
That's right, and he corrected it, and as soon as he corrected it, she went the other way. And
there was another erratic runner in that race too, the one that flashed along the fence.
John
Justice.
That's correct.